Hello and welcome everybody to today's edition of Mexico News Network's Breaking News Business. I'm your host, Elliot Bullman. Remember to follow us on all our social networks and to catch us every day by logging onto our website, mexiconewsnetwork.com, for relevant stories and news. Let's start with today's show. Ford has said it will cancel a $1.6 billion plant it planned to build in Mexico and instead extend operations at its factory in Michigan by spending $700 million on expanding the plant at Flat Rock, building a range of electric cars. Ford CEO Mark Fields said the decision was partly due to falling sales of small cars and partly a vote of confidence in Donald Trump's policies. But he said another factor in the decision was the more favorable U.S. business environment that we see under President-elect Trump and some of the pro-growth policies that he's been talking about. The president-elect has criticized both Ford and its rival General Motors over production of models in Mexico. Mr. Trump, earlier on Tuesday, tweeted criticism of GM's production of its Chevy Cruze model in Mexico. Ford is not abandoning production completely in Mexico, but is switching production of its Focus model to its existing plant in Hermosillo to improve profitability. Mexico's economy ministry said it regretted Ford's decision, adding that it had assurances that the U.S. car firm would pay the state of San Luis Potosí for any costs incurred from the cancellation. In other news, Mexico's minimum wage rose almost 10% this week in a jolt to the system meant to stoke the poorest workers' buying power, which has been eroded by recessions and past bouts of high inflation. But the prospect of higher earnings is doing little to dent pessimism among consumers who head into 2017 facing rising fuel costs, higher interest rates, and a weakening peso that closed 2016 near record lows against the US dollar. Labor, government, and business leaders on the Minimum Wage Commission agreed to raise the daily minimum wage to 80 Mexican pesos, or about $4, from 73 pesos, a break from a years-long custom in which annual increases were roughly in line with inflation. Mexico's discussions on raising the minimum wage coincide with moves in the US, where some 4.4 million workers in 20 states are set to receive increases at the beginning of this year. That has also fueled debate on whether it will make US employers reluctant to hire. The Commission split the increase into two parts: 4 pesos a day to restore purchasing power, and on top of that, 3.9%. Authorities hope the additional 3.9% will be used as the benchmark for other wage negotiations, avoiding the so-called lighthouse effect, where minimum wage increases fuel demands across the board and threaten an inflationary wage spiral. Around 15% of the country's 52 million workers make minimum wage, according to government data. Most of them are employed informally, and a majority contribute less than half of their household income. So many households survive because they have several wage earners. In other headlines, VITRO, Mexico's leading glass producer, has announced it signed a definitive agreement to acquire Pittsburgh Glassworks' automotive glass business from LKQ Corporation for a total consideration of approximately $310 million US. The acquisition will be funded with $80 million in cash and a $230 million loan from BBVA Bancomer, which was simultaneously signed with this agreement. VITRO is acquiring 7 manufacturing plants, 2 satellite facilities, and 2 float glass furnaces in the United States, 1 manufacturing plant in Poland, and an equity share in 2 joint ventures located in North America and China. As part of this transaction, VITRO and LKQ agreed to enter into a multi-year purchase agreement, whereby VITRO will supply LKQ's aftermarket glass distribution business with an already agreed upon volume. The chairman of the board of directors of VITRO, Adrian Sada Gonzalez, said, "We're pleased to have reached this agreement, our second acquisition in the year, which is complementary to the recent acquisition of the construction glass business from PPG. With this investment, VITRO will continue to strengthen its automotive glass division, a key business for VITRO, thus fulfilling its commitment to create value for its shareholders." And finally, let's have a look at the markets. The Mexican peso decreased 0.79% to 21.25 from 21.42 in the previous trading session. Historically, the Mexican peso reached an all-time high of 21.48 in January of 2017 and a record low of 0.01 in May of 1972. IPC Mexico increased 1.01% to 46,588 from 46,123 in the previous trading session. Historically, the Mexico stock market IPC index reached an all-time high of 46,694.9 in August of 2016 and a record low of 14,008.2 in August of 2005. This was all for today. Thank you for staying with us. I'm your host, Elliot Bullman. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and log on to MexicoNewsNetwork.com for more information on Mexico and the world. Until next time.